What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Okay. What do we got going on here? So first up here we've got Albert. Albert's been patiently waiting for us to get another space gray logic board to fix up their HomePod here. Let's let them know that we're finally wrapping this one up. And after that, we're going to look at number 360. Number 360 was successful in a USB restore, and they opted for the additional hardware maintenance. There we go. Okay, we've got number 360 messaged. And then we've got number 372. Number 372 also took a successful USB restore. And then number 333, no power. Number 391, no power. There's a V in there. Let's get that out. SL with no power, no power. Looks like pretty much the rest of these are no powers. And for Albert's HomePod here, you have got a logic board with no power. I'll go ahead and show you guys. So real quick, we've got this HomePod here that turns right on. If we take this logic board out of here, and we pop this logic board in here, we have got, would you look at that? Suddenly no power. So, how do I find out why this is not powering on? Usually things aren't powering on because of a short. So let's get it plugged back in really quick. Let's grab our thermal camera, and shorts tend to make things run hot. And once our thermal camera loads, wouldn't you have it, we have got a capacitor right there that is getting very hot. Matter of fact, I think we can even dump some flux on there and see a bubble. Ooh, you can hear it bubbling. if you guys can hear this. So, we have definitely found the short on this logic board. We just need to replace that cap real fast. Ooh. Parts boards! Parts. Alright, we're going to grab ourselves a replacement cap here. Stefan, what is up? Welcome back. Seems like quite the saga on the Discord server if I don't have you mixed up with someone else. Alright, capacitor secure. Let's get the fried one out of there. Easy as. A little more flux on there. It'll kind of help hold it in place for us too. Nope. We lost it. I made a fatal mistake there, but I saw where it went. We'll get it back. There we go. Take two. Get on there. Alright, that took longer than it should have, but we've got it on there. Yeah, that's an interesting error. I haven't seen that one before that you're seeing. Okay. And there you go. We've got our power back for this logic board. So, pending any other issues with it, let's go ahead and get Albert's HomePod apart here. I'll scoot this down. Perfect. Oh, really? Really? Its only problem really wasn't just no power, it had to have blinking volume. I love how the only space gray HomePods that I can get my hands on for parts are ones with blinking volume buttons. And whenever I do, in the rare chance, get my hands on a broken black HomePod that seems like it has a good logic board still, we even fixed the freaking issue. And ooh, big surprise, something else is actually wrong with it. The logic board. Why? How does this happen so much? I swear people are screwing with me. They're sending me the worst of the worst and going, he'll make use of it. No, I need these logic boards. Well, as you can see, this one's one of mine. My last space gray one that I have sitting around here for parts. I did not want to use this one. I was going to use it for someone else, but we gotta keep people moving through here. We can't hang on to their stuff forever. And I wouldn't be annoyed if I didn't just waste 10 minutes of my time fixing that. Whatever. You win some, you lose a lot. At least that's how it feels like these days. Used to be you could get your hands on a broken HomePod for 20 to 60 bucks. Easy peasy. Pretty much all of them just wouldn't power on. And you got what you got. You didn't know. No surprises. None of this, it doesn't turn on, but actually when you fix the power problem, it actually has blinking volume buttons. What is this malarkey? This is like the third space gray black HomePod that I've bought for myself in the past 3 weeks that has been like this. And unfortunately, it basically, it wouldn't bother me if people weren't waiting for replacement logic boards for their space gray HomePods. And I don't know why it's all the space gray ones. I don't think it has anything to do with the color or the manufacturing process. I imagine just the space gray ones were more popular, so we're going to see more of them broken. See, like, what is this? What is this garbage? This is broken. I bought this for no power, not drop damage. And like, as soon as people's stuff break, they like stop caring about it. They like don't care if it gets chucked around. like people don't realize there's perfectly good stuff in there. If not, everything is just fine, and there may even just be a silly user error. Or in many of the HomePod cases, a diode that only costs $1. Granted, it takes a little bit of effort to get to, but I mean, none of that's a reason to throw the thing across the house when it stops working. Ooh, and then they throw it up on eBay for sale. And they're like, well, I don't know what happened. You just stopped working one day for parts of repair. And you buy it thinking you're just getting... See, here's the thing. We've had thousands of these things sent through here over the years. And I've seen it all. Consistently, I generally don't have any surprises whenever people are sending their own stuff in for repair. But as soon as people start buying broken HomePods and trying to fix them, then it's like all these strange issues start happening. Multiple issues in one HomePod. I think in many cases it's people running into one issue and thinking that they can get more out of it for parts of repair if it has a different specific issue, like no power. You know, we talk about how easy it is and how much of a grand slam repair no power is on these things. And of course, as the word got around, no power HomePods get harder and harder to get your hands on, and they tend to be the ones that sell quicker. And then all the ones with blinking volume buttons take a lot longer to sell because it's a toss-up. It might just be a software issue that you can restore with a handcrafted USB adapter, or it might be a hardware issue that you need a whole new logic board for if you can't fix that hardware issue. So people get to thinking, oh, what if instead of selling my HomePod with blinking volume buttons for parts of repair, I freaking bam, bam, bam. It's like no longer is it a blinking volume buttons sale. It's a no power parts of repair sale. Ooh, okay, I'm calming down. I'm calming down. Oh, Dan, welcome, welcome. Can't wait to get that here and fix it up for you. Anyways, all of these are still like ultimately problems that Apple could really fix with the snap of a finger, but they leave us up to it. At least they're leaving us alone with the software restores. They're not messing with, they're not breaking that. I still can't believe I've been sitting on that HomePod's logic board with no power for months, and I found it again in my parts stash, and I got really excited. I was like, yes, I finally have another space gray logic board here. I just have to fix the power issue. I was bamboozled. I've been coaxed into a snafu. Well, I guess I shouldn't get too upset yet. There's a possibility that that one is just a software issue. But I'll have to try a software restore on it later. Because, yeah, I mean, it's very possible that maybe that capacitor shorted out and caused the logic board to stop turning on during an update, or it just caused the software to fail. I have a feeling maybe not, but... Well, here we are at the amplifier board. Might be wondering what we're doing all the way down here if Albert's issues are just a logic board problem. Well, we're here because we're already taking their HomePod apart to replace the logic board. We're already charging them essentially for a whole logic board replacement. I don't want to do all that and take everyone's time and money and send them back a HomePod that will almost inevitably need to come back to us at some point for one of two common issues: death farts and no power. Death farts are caused by these capacitors going bad. Since they are ceramic capacitors, all ceramic caps naturally decay over time and lose their effectiveness at removing unwanted DC voltage. In this particular spot, that's pretty important, and without it, you get those death farts, as people call them. That will eventually roast your subwoofer and just cause more expensive damage down the road. So we like to replace these filters anytime we open up a HomePod. And after these filters, we're going to flip the board around and take a look at the Schottky diode that fails and causes no power. Now, the filters, they all go bad. They all got to get replaced every once in a while. This diode that fails and causes no power, however, only a particular batch of these diodes are failing. So we know what to look out for and which ones to replace and which ones we don't have to worry about. But we'll see after these filters what it's got and if it needs a new diode too. And the 36K dated diode means no need for one of those. Let's get this back together. You see me heating to 500, no, nothing's affected. Not for how quick we're in and out. We could go down to, we can't go any lower than about 460, 475. The board just takes too much of the heat away. And I doubt that everything's actually getting to 500C. I doubt that hot air station's even reaching 500. It's some cheap Amazon garbage. Is the number the amount of HomePod repairs? Not necessarily, no. It's just a somewhat random number that everyone gets when they fill out a repair form. So, in a sense, it's the number of repairs that we've had since, like, November of last year. But we've been doing it for over 3 years now. And we've only been doing the repair form since November, so everyone prior to November was tracked differently. No. 300. That's cute. No, we've fixed more than 3,000 of these things by now. I do remember when we got really excited about fixing a few dozen of them and catching on to the common issues that they have. And then it very quickly expanded into this getting 4 to 5 a day, and then it grew 6 to 7, and now we're getting 10, 12, 15 a day. I'm barely keeping up. But absolutely fair assumption to make. But if you basically just add a 0 behind all those numbers there, that's about where we're at. And when we're not goofing around and taking our sweet time fixing stuff that was broken in more ways than we thought, we can be in and out of one of these in under 20 minutes. We're not making awful time right now, but we should be well into putting our second one together by now. We're slacking. I'm gonna miss you. I didn't have you for long, but you will serve Albert well, I hope. Goodbye, logic board for Space Gray HomePod. I feel like if this was a serious hot air gun, I shouldn't be able to do this with it. It does get, obviously it gets hot enough to reflow SMD components, but I wonder how far off this really is from the temperature I select. Right? And I mean, like, with every hot air station, the temperature you set is not going to be what temperature that the components actually tended to reach and what the board ends up usually seeing. But I wonder if that how much worse that is with this one. Well, goodness, we at least got Albert working again. We'll make sure that resets and updates and resets again without a problem. Oh, thank God. It turns on, it boots.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Beautiful. All right. Let's move on to number 360. Number 360 here, successfully restored via our USB adapter yesterday. They opted for the extra hardware maintenance, so we're going to knock that out real quick. We've also got to do the same thing for number 372. And then we can dive into some more interesting and actual repairs here, not just take it apart and put it back together and look, it still works. But we gotta get the boring stuff out of the way first. These folks have been waiting their due time to get these fixed, so. If there was one part that I could choose to skip, that I could choose to remove from every HomePod repair, it would be that plastic top right there. And I think that alone would probably grant a lot more people easier access into these for more self-repair. But alas, we are here. And they stuck it down like the way they did, so they did away with it in the second gen. The second gen isn't held together with any glue or adhesive. It's all screws and gaskets. That is such a strange error, Stefan. Have you Googled it yet? Like, has anybody else seen the same error before? It's really weird. Oh. Easy. It didn't want to put up a fight. Out with that old foam gasket too, as part of all these hardware maintenances that we do on these pods. They get that old foam subwoofer gasket replaced with a new solid rubber one. It'll seal a little better and have a slightly better bass response. Not sure if you'll notice it, but if you did a side-by-side comparison of a room full of HomePods with original gaskets and a room full of HomePods with replaced solid rubber gaskets, you would notice a difference. Alright, same deal. We're going to give it new filters. It does need a new Schottky diode too. That one has a 48K date code on it, so we'll get that replaced before this also has no power issues. Wow. They said, I'm out of here. Or while I am thinking about it, I am going to turn this back down to 75. It won't make much of a difference, but that's usually where I run it. I had it at 500 to reflow some connectors on a different board the other day. Beautiful. Let's get that diode out of there before it needs to be replaced. There's our 48K date code on there. Oh man, if you don't have hot air these days, you're not getting anything fixed. Alright, well this shouldn't be coming back to us anytime soon for anything. Let's get this put back together. We've got one more boring one to do, and then we can move on to slightly more exciting things. And by that I mean, it's honestly going to be the exact same repairs that you see us do for these. We're doing the maintenance on these to prevent the same issues that have already happened on the ones that'll be coming up here soon. It'll be the same process, same teardown, same parts getting replaced. Yeah, let's see what we've got. We've got 372 next. They were just software issues. They want hardware maintenance. So same parts, new filters, probably needs a new diode. And then number 333 up there, they have no power. Chances are the same diode has already failed. We'll get that replaced and it'll get new filters. NP391 there, no power. You guessed it, probably the same diode. It'll get one of those and new filters. Same with SL, 391, 303, 377. Chris there. Yeah, they're all gonna, oh boy, today is gonna be nothing but dead diodes, I imagine. Once we get through these few maintenances. But we've seen it here thousands of times, and I'm sure we'll see it thousands more. How many days a week am I live streaming? Usually every day, sometimes every other day. It depends on, well, the past few months, there's always stuff waiting to get fixed, but if I can catch up and give myself a day off, I try to. But that has not happened. The only days I'm not streaming are when I've been just too busy with my day job and too tired to sit down and stream another few hours of HomePod repairs after. Watch ribbon cables. Oh. Is that like a movie documentary thing? I'm gonna have to check that out. No, it's battery, but I have it plugged in all the time because it gives us an extra little, like 1 to 2% of kick, just a little extra power, and it's just what we need to hit most of these screws with how tight they make them. But I'm lazy. I just keep it plugged in all the time. I don't want to deal with charging it and discharging it, and it would only last through about 5 or 6 HomePods before I'd have to plug it back in. It would only make it through 2 or 3 before noticeably losing power. And I've got like a dozen of them sitting around from the manufacturer sending me so many trying to figure out a defect, and they just gave up. They said keep them. So I could care less if I fry the battery in it. But surprisingly, the battery is the one thing that lasts the longest in those things. They have a plastic housing inside that holds the button, and it cracks real easy. I give it maybe a month and it'll crack and become inconsistent. It'll stop pressing in the middle of screwing screws, and it gets real annoying real fast. Unfortunately, it seems like they did not fix that in the new version. This stuff? Red stuff A, red stuff B, or red stuff C? Not sure which red stuff you're talking about. Got a few red things on my desk here. Yes. Well, there's your answer. Looks like you figured it out yourself. Oh, first. These are from my old Weller soldering mat. I had a big red Weller soldering mat that didn't last too long, but I liked the screw trays that were built into it, so I cut them out of the mat before I chucked the rest of the mat. So these are, these help me organize my screws. They're just from a different soldering mat that I cut apart. And then this is also from the same mat. I just stick this under any boards that I'm reflowing on our main mat here to hopefully get a little extra life out of the bigger main mat, since it was soldering directly on the soldering mat, of course, that killed it so fast last time. And it seems to have held it up pretty well. The only damage on my main mat here has been from soldering, again, directly on it. You double layer, you're good to go. Awesome. Cheers, folks. Okay, we have got one more for maintenance, and then it's nothing but no power for the rest of the day. Have we let number 372 know? Yes, we did. Okay, so number 333 is after that then. Let's go ahead and let them know. Alright, 333 has been notified, 372 has been notified. This one is working. We restored it with our adapter yesterday. They have opted for the extra hardware maintenance, so here we go. Mike, welcome. I am proud to report that I have yes, I have in fact eaten today. I have actually eaten twice today. Really rare occurrence. Wife made bacon and eggs and toast and some hash browns. Ooh. And then we had some sandwiches for lunch. It was a late lunch too at that, so I'm charged up, I'm ready to go. I've already had a beer where we've already cracked a second beer open. Mike, goodness, you've missed a lot. We even rebuilt your amplifier board. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing you. I'm torturing you. I'm being absolutely awful to you, though. I do feel bad. I told you like a week ago I'd have that done, and it's just been this, that, and the other thing. I can't remember if I asked you or if you answered in the last stream, but do you want me to try to get that done and shipped back to you before your space gray HomePod? Or do you want me to wait for the space gray one to show up to ship both of them back to you? Oh, that's right. No, space gray ran away. You don't know where it went, do you? Hope he's doing all right out there. Wonder if he got a job, or if he's like living under a bridge, maybe. So many diodes to replace. You don't have any like crazy X's that would hit you really where they would know to hit you where it really hurts, would they? You on good terms with your mom? I don't know. I'll look around here. Maybe it knew where it was headed. Yeah, it is funny when people are like, ooh, my $300 speaker got taken out by a $1 diode, when the same thing is in fact happening to equipment worth much, 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 much more. But typically, I mean, you knew this. This is more for others watching, but typically you have components rated for higher manufacturing standards, rated for more extreme environments and vibrations, and the idea is the more critical and or the more critical and or important that the part is, or the role it plays, the obviously more reliable you need to build it and make it. So it makes sense that Apple's not using the biggest, baddest, highest quality diodes in these HomePods. In fact, what they used is perfectly fine. The specification of the diode is not why it's failing, in HomePods at least. The only reason these diodes fail in these HomePods is a quality control issue with the diodes themselves. And Ironically, the one that we replace it with is a higher rated diode, held to higher manufacturing standards, and it's cheaper than the original version. Your litter box got taken out by that power jack. I think you took the power jack out, Mike. It sure looks a lot like you're the one that took it out. I think you even posted a message in Discord server and said you're the one that you took this power jack out. Yeah, isn't that ironic? A component used normally for protection has, in this case, in many cases in these HomePods, just popped for no reason and been the problem. I've even seen them take down a step-down converter or two when they go. Oh, we've got garbage. Look at that trash. What the hell? What the... There we go. I can't wait for my new flux to show up. This stuff is alright, but it, well, heck, it even smells better than the Chipquik stuff, I'll give it that, but that's all I can give it. Beautiful. First try. Oh, actually, hold on. I do want to scoot the top one down just a hair. All right. I am happy. And what is our Schottky status? A 52K dated diode. Okay, we need not worry about that one. That's a good diode. That's a good diode right there, yeah. That's a good boy. Oh yeah, I take all 4 of those capacitors in one go. I don't believe in separating families. And those filters are one tight family. Make Vin Diesel proud. untested because the power cable was cut. I'm a little skeptical. I've got, I'm pretty traumatized by all these broken pods I've been buying that I've been told were no power, and then I fixed the no power issue, and ooh, big surprise, it's actually got blinking volume buttons now. Huh. So, when a power cable is cut, or there's physical damage, I'm always suspect of them trying to hide or be less genuine about its real condition or operating conditions. But sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes people just they cut the cord for who knows why. They get mad at it. They think they can splice a new one on there. You don't need to cut the power cable. You can literally just pop it in, pop it out. Ooh. Huh. I would have been real sad if that went into the subwoofer. He said a dog chewed it. Is the dog okay, man? That's 110 volts AC if they're American. 220 if they're in the rest of the world. Although, most first world countries tend to have GFCI outlets on most of their stuff, so the dog is probably okay. He's got that dog in him. 240 in Serbia, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty. With the way things have been going, if I knew for a fact it was no power, $80 would be one heck of a deal to me. Especially if it was a space gray. Oh, buddy. Sign me up. Listen, you might get 120 where you live in the US, but where I live in the US, I'm lucky if I see 110. My shit's dripping and dropping all the time over here. Not to mention the whole entire house being wired into a single 15-amp breaker. It's impossible to run multiple things here. I don't know how often parts pods pop up around you, Stefan, but yeah, I mean, I would of course offer them 50 to 60 bucks, but even if they turn that down, I would consider their original asking price, because I imagine parts pods around you are not very common to come by. I would be snapping up whatever I could get my hands on if I were you. Maybe even starting up a small repair business and making some money out of it and making a name for yourself. Oh, I was like, what did we mess up there? What did we forget? It would help if we plugged the power cable in. About giving myself a heart attack. Used they go for. Oof. Stefan, scoop it. Get it while you can, man. Get it before someone else watching our stream in Serbia snaps it up from you. Alright, we've got number 372 all good to go. Yes, it is finally time to fix some stuff here. We've got number 333. This one's Daniel's, actually. Daniel 333. He got himself a pretty lucky number there. We told Daniel we were starting it yesterday, and then we ended the stream a little early, so let's take care of this. See what we got. No lights, no power. Couple of watts from the wall. That all tells me, yes, we've got a dead diode. I'll let you know when number 666 is coming up, Mike, so you can sign up for a repair right when that comes across. At this rate, I think we'll be seeing that at around April to May. He likes to sit there and watch me.
That's so funny.
Remember, we're not telling her what the rat man did in my room yesterday. But if he does it again, he is out of here. I'm not having it.
That baby needs a book.
She should be asleep.
What?
She should be asleep.
She won't go to sleep.
Skill issue. Skill issue. Hey yo, what is up? Welcome, welcome. Oh, almost forgot. Yep, it's still good. Well, I'm glad everybody's getting some work done around here, except for Mike, of course. Gotta keep true to the Mike Wazowski name, huh? Instead of doing all the effort to color a HomePods mesh to look like a watermelon, why don't we just stick the guts of a HomePod into a watermelon? Wouldn't that be a lot easier? And it would taste a lot better. And probably last longer too. Alright, first up, we're going to do a little bit of maintenance here. Nothing to do with the power issue, but we see these filters failing often enough and causing death farts that we've made it part of our hardware maintenance. Something that we do every time we take a HomePod apart and the amp is in front of us, it's going to get new filters. Because the one thing that I hate working on HomePods the most is getting one that I've already worked on back. Unless it's a really interesting case like Mike's where it ugh. Give it a little break and go back at it. We don't want to cook stuff here. We're not having HomePod for dinner. And give it a break, and we're going to go in one more time and straighten that out a little bit. Beautiful. And now for our dead diode. We have got a 48K date code on there. That is what we typically see failing and causing these no power issues. Let's get that replaced with a brand new one, which by and of itself, the issue won't happen again with a new one. But we'll be extra sure since it's a bigger, better, badder, higher quality version of this diode. Mike, you have the opportunity to do something really funny. You have the opportunity. Oh yes, don't feel bad about a messy desk, man. Yeah, you don't want to see the rest of my room. It is just swimming in stinky subwoofers, and I probably have 50 or 60 amp boards floating around here, and the same in logic boards, HomePod shells, meshes. It's a graveyard in here, man. It's a safety hazard getting to my desk. Yeah, it's like everyone wants to give me a hard time for bringing a bag with 2 laptops and a dozen flash drives with a bunch of different OSs and recovery tools on it, keyboard, mouse, bunch of different cables and adapters, Ethernet cable, soldering iron. But it's all funny until someone needs something fixed and you're the only one with it. Do we have schematics for these HomePods? Oh, Gary, you're dreaming. We do not. We figure most of these things out by trial and error, getting lucky. Sometimes you can just poke around and visually find what's wrong, or it's obvious what's going on with just a short. But then the trickier ones, like no sound, no bass, we had to learn over time what the different areas of the amp board do, and basically just start swapping parts until the behavior changes between a known good board and a known bad board. No schematics for anything yet. Maybe one day. That would be a real game changer. But until then, it's we're all on our own. Maybe someone overseas can hook us up and do a little leaky. Oh, and the other thing that I started doing, actually I did this years ago. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, here it is. I've got an amplifier board that I took everything off of, and slowly I've been reverse engineering this and mapping out where everything goes. And I mean, I've been working on this for like 3 years now, but I will finish it one day. I swear to God, I'll finish it, or I'll freaking pay a company that reverse engineers stuff to do it for me. But our next best option is what I've been doing, which is removing everything off the board and just manually continuity testing and tracing out where everything goes. And then from there, what we can do is we can start populating with the parts that we do know, what we can identify, and then we look up data sheets for those parts that we can identify and look at possibly like example schematics and evaluation board schematics that use the same parts, so we can see how they're connected in other products to give us an idea of how it should look. What should be connected to this normally. Why would I pay you to eat it, Mike? Why would I pay you to do something I do myself for pleasure? How do I know exactly what component is bad on such a device when all I have to go off is no power? No power in many electronic devices tends to be a fairly easy thing to diagnose. Usually, what you want to start off with is some way to measure how much power the device is pulling when you try to power it on. That gives you a huge clue. If it's not pulling any power, if it's pulling 0 watts from the wall when you plug it in, then chances are you've got a blown fuse or something severely disconnected at a big power level. Usually a blown fuse, or something is just so severely damaged that things aren't connected at all anymore. There's no flow of power. And then you've got power draw. If you have any amount of power being drawn from the wall, but it's still not powering on, chances are you've got some sort of a short or dead component somewhere. And if it's shorting, it's probably generating heat. So you can use a thermal gun, you can use flux pen, you can use various different methods to find what component is shorting out and heating up and causing that failure. There's a few other issues not no power. It gets a little more difficult. In some cases we don't know. We just have to take our best guess at what area of the amplifier board is causing these issues and start swapping parts out until we see the behavior change. And then in other cases, we've done, we did a lot of research into death farts and trying to figure out what causes death farts. And that's, there's a whole rabbit hole we went down. Actually, if you're curious, if you go to my website, nixfix.com, you can go to the known issues section and read up on the death farts known issue of how we figured that one out. It's a bit of a story, but it was
I'm having trouble connect.
It was such a great feeling when we figured that one out. It was, nobody knew how to fix death farts, and at best people thought that the wrong part was causing it. So when we were able to not only prove that people were wrong, but find a way to fix it, please take the crown off my head, it's hurting my neck. Alright, we've got number 391 here. I think this is going to be the last one that we'll do here today. I want to save some work for myself tomorrow. I don't want to have a day off. Whoa. Let's see here. No lights, no power. We've got 6 watts of power draw from the wall. So let's dig in. So there's more to it than just plugging it in and seeing how much power it draws and what's getting hot. Before we offered a HomePod repair service and anybody knew how to fix these things, I had a working HomePod for myself, but I wanted more of them and I didn't want to spend the money on it. So one thing that I love to do is buy something in broken shape and fix it up as a way to get my hands on something for a good deal. And I figured, why not try HomePods? So I bought myself a couple of broken HomePods and I started looking around online for any info that anybody may have already found on how to fix them. And there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing except for one guy and one video. And he spent like 4 or 5 hours across 2 different repair streams or repair videos trying to take this HomePod apart. And he ultimately was able to diagnose. He found his way organically to the location of that diode and diagnosed that it had shorted out, and he replaced it and the HomePod powered right up after that. And it blew my mind. I was like, whoa. And it got me to thinking, like, I wonder if I buy any broken HomePods, if they're gonna have the same issue. And when I got my hands on broken HomePods and I started taking them apart and looking at them, sure enough, they all followed the same theme of dead diode inside. So I started fixing them up, putting the info out there, making video guides, eventually offering a repair service, and getting my hands on a lot more of these. So we were able to fix one and the most common issue with them, but there were other issues starting to crop up with them, like death farts. And I wanted to make some credit for myself. I wanted to see if I could figure out what was going on here. Uncharted territory. So I started collecting as many broken ones as I could, and just noting the differences between their symptoms and what went wrong with them. Every time it was a dead diode, it pulled this much power. It was put together this way with these kinds of parts from this date code. And I tried to find the similarities and differences between working and non-working ones, and then the non-working ones, like what was similar between all of those. That's what pointed us to the dead diode issue for no power being a somewhat widespread issue, at least a pretty common amongst no power failures for these. But then, other no power, that's not the only cause for no power. And other ones started showing up that wouldn't power on with perfectly good diodes. And I started looking for differences again. And I would look at the power draw. Does it pull more power than a dead diode or less power than a dead diode? It's a lot of, it's a lot of trial and error, just learning experiences, just sitting down for hours in messing around with stuff. Concerned, obviously, that I'm going to break stuff and lose money along the way, but that was all. All with the goal in mind of being able to fix and save so much more. And I think we did it. Oh, what's the white dot right here? This is the diffuser for the LEDs. There's a display under there that lights up. And, well, that's this guy right here, actually. And then underneath this is a lens, and then underneath this is a bunch of LEDs for the display. And those just make these change what would look like basically this to a smooth illuminated surface. Without the diffusers, you would just see basically like 16 bright colored dots instead of one smooth I don't know what the word, you know what I'm saying. Clearly, I haven't there we go. Oh yeah, in a lot of cases you can smell what's bad, especially if it's these stinky subwoofers. Man, let me tell you, those can get real stinky. I'm gonna wipe that subwoofer off before we put that all back together later, but. What? It's just the glue. The glue holding us up. Alright. First up, some new fart filters. Blah blah blah. Ceramic capacitors. Blah blah blah. Shelf life of 1 year. Blah blah blah. They're all gonna go bad. Let's give us some new ones before it gives us a reason to need them replaced. And usually that reason is a roasted subwoofer. So I like to avoid that. What brand of caps are they using? Ooh. They're using KYB for the electrolytics. I couldn't tell you what they're using for the ceramics, unfortunately. I'd really like to know what they were using for these. Mike. I didn't. Fantastic. Let's get that dead diode out of here. Chances are it's a 46K or 48K, if we know what we're talking about here. Oh, look at that, 48K. And it's not just a lucky guess. There were dozens of different date codes used for these diodes. There are a bunch of different dates that Apple used for these diodes, rather. There's only 2 of them in particular that cause these issues. And they're within 2 weeks of each other. Go figure. What was in the water at Diodes Incorporated during the weeks of 46 and 48 of 2017? I would love to know. Everybody should start emailing Diodes Incorporated telling them that they incorporated their diodes into their products, and they're seeing a large failure rate with diodes dated with these date codes. They used a POS on the 120 volt side. Are you talking about on the power supply here? Or the Nichijon on the other side? I just noticed that there are KYBs on this side and Ichijon on the other side. But I cannot disagree with your sentiment nonetheless. With the way that this was designed, when those filters go bad, and they're going to go bad, every data sheet for MLCC ceramic capacitors tell you, design your frickin' shit with the fact in mind that these will derate over time. What did Apple do? They make your HomePod death fart and roast to the subwoofer. Why don't we see the filters in other smart speakers failing? Well, frankly, most other smart speakers are not in the same class as the HomePod. And also, I don't think there are other smart speakers out there as popular as the HomePod. So you're just not going to see, like, if they had, what was it, the Amazon Echo Studio? It's basically the HomePod competitor. I imagine if Apple, or if Amazon sold as many of those as Apple sold HomePods, we'd probably see a similar story. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the Amazon Echo Studio doesn't even have a Class D audio amplifier, so DC offset isn't really a concern. But that would also mean that they're using a different amplifier, and it may just not be as good anyways. Four times the degen. Michael Transter, welcome. And I swear to God, if you do that, I will find you. I am trying to do the same thing. Something like that. Not quite 8 HomePod subwoofers, but I am in the works of crafting a HomePod Max, the HomePod Mega. Big Chungus. Oh, we don't do this for a living. I wish we could. And despite how much we charge for the repairs, despite how many we get, at best this just makes our lives a little more comfortable. I have a full-time salary 24/7 on-call day job that I'm usually busy with. This we just get done whenever we can in our free time. Free time. No such thing. At this point, I'm so busy. I just have to do. I just have to take care of whoever's yelling the loudest at that moment. And that's not even before we're talking about HomePods. We started this like 3 years ago, just, you know, we'd get a HomePod every day or so for funsies. Crazy. It used to be very lucrative to flip HomePods, but these days people want too much for broken ones. The ones that they don't want, the broken ones they don't want too much for, need too much work, and people don't want to pay what refurbished working ones would be worth. Like the margin between the difference between how much a broken one will cost and how much I can turn around and sell it for is just, that gap is closing more and more as time passes. And I can't help but think it's mostly because some goofball keeps going around the internet making all these videos showing people how to fix these things and making it look so easy. It used to be you could easily buy as many broken HomePods as you want for less than $60 a pop. People couldn't get rid of them. And then, ooh, what? You can fix them? Ooh, they're suddenly worth a bunch of money now. It's like the $249 in raw materials that they put these things together with wasn't worth it enough. Yeah. The first gen HomePod all around is just such a fascinating product from Apple's approach of like $249 per unit just in material costs. That's not software support, customer support, shipping, packing, all that extra stuff. Research and development. So they were taking a pretty good hit on these things. And the hardware was, I mean, if you take how expensive the hardware was for them to put it together as an indication of its quality and its potential, then it's there. It's quite crazy that Apple, frankly, only charged $350 at the start and even brought it down to $299 in many cases. They were not making much on these in terms of hardware. They were counting on you subscribing and getting into the subscription services. That's where the money is. But they're not going to do that. You know, your customer's not going to pay extra for a subscription service to use your premium hardware product if it doesn't sound premium to match. So they took a serious effort, in my opinion, on making these sound great. Not audiophile, and I'm not saying just because it's not audiophile doesn't mean it's not excellent quality, but it's not natural enough that you're gonna make an audiophile go wow. But it's gonna make the average person go wow. The average person probably has never heard anything better, and it is absolutely fascinating. And I can say that because I was one of those people that was just absolutely wowed by it. And I consider myself not really an audiophile, but a bit of a quality snob. Like, I don't want my music sounding like crap. I want to hear the detail and I want to feel it. And HomePods, man, for the size and the price, you still can't beat it. Prove me wrong. Yeah, you got the Sonos, but Sonos doesn't have an offering that has the 360-degree surround that you can place anywhere, and it sounds amazing all around. If you came here expecting me to be another tech repair channel that hates what they're working on, you found the wrong place. I'm here because I love these things so much, and I think that they're some of the best out there, despite their problems. You would be mistaken. Well, I guess what I should do is devalue these things and tell everyone that they're all unfixable garbage instead of praising them so much, and maybe I can get my hands on more for myself. Everybody, HomePods suck. They're unfixable and they cost too much in time and effort and money and parts to fix. Just give them all to me. Give up on them. Alright, I'm gonna go see if the kid is asleep or not. Actually, what time is it? Oh, it's dinner time. I was gonna say if that kid's asleep, maybe we can fix a few more, but we'll save them for tomorrow. There's no point in rushing through a bunch of repairs on the weekend.
I'm having trouble connecting.
I'm talking. There's no point in rushing through a bunch of repairs on weekends because the USPS is closed on the weekend and UPS doesn't move anything on the weekend, so if I wanted to try hard and get everything fixed on Saturday and drop it off on Sunday, it won't matter. Nothing will move till Monday anyways, so.
I'm having trouble connecting.
In any case, we've got
I'm having trouble connecting.
number 391 all fixed up, and that is all that I've got the time and energy for here and now, so I hope you all enjoy this live stream repair. And I hope to catch you in the next one.